dinner got taken a minute ago.
I was actually taking one for the team there.
You were. The food here wonderfully delivered to us ahead of this game, and sneaking into the back of the commentary box, a couple of the lunches were taken from our allocation.
I suffer from hangriness.
I know you do, Izzy.
And I think it's in everyone's interests that I eat.
Listener, colleague, residents of Northampton.
Yes, in everybody's interest, frankly.
Right, Shikha Pandey is going to bowl the first ball of this game, and indeed this T20 series. We have the right-handed Tammy Beaumont on strike, a slip in place, the countdown commencing and concluding. A cry for umpire Redfern of play. Listen to that applause around the ground. Wantage Road really up for this, and Shikha Pandey begins her approach. There's one slip in place, as I say. Pandey in, down the leg side, filthy delivery first up that we'll see a couple onto the total, the wide, and then that extra run taken. And we're up and running in this game. England 2 without loss.
Maybe she just wanted to get Danielle Wyatt on strike straight away, because that's what's happened. Pretty filthy delivery to start with. Of course, Shikha Pandey didn't play in that South Africa series. She was left out as India looked to rotate and experiment with their seam bowlers. She's led the attack in the ODI series, played in the Test as well.
A 117th T20 international for Danielle Wyatt. You forget how much international cricket she's played. A phenomenal amount of games. As Pandey into Wyatt. Field stays the same. Wyatt defending into the leg side. Wants a quick single. That's what these two will do well. And that's rotate the strike. Another onto the total. Wyatt's off the mark. 3 without loss.
Yeah, these two extremely quick between the wickets athletes of the game. Consummate all-rounder in that respect. She's been bowling a lot more as well, Danielle Wyatt, recently.
Well, that was her initial forte, really. A little bit of a scramble between Wyatt and Beaumont as the throw comes in from behind the stumps and ignites the Zinger Bales, which gets a little bit of an ooh and ah from the crowd, but not so much as to cause any alarm for Tammy Beaumont, who was safely in her ground. Danielle Wyatt, I should say, who was safely home. And the England score moves to 4 without loss. Wyatt, who across the T20 World Cup, 4 innings, 47 runs. It wasn't quite the sort of return she would have been looking for.
Well, another one who had not a disappointing World Cup, but a disappointing last T20 is Pandey.
Pandey into Wyatt, who's defending. Again, wants that single, but it won't be there.
Her last T20 was that World Cup final in on 8th of March 2020, pre-pandemic. Those many moons ago, and she was rather taken to town, in fact, by Elisa Healy. She scored 75 or 39, and Pandey's figures for that match: 4 overs, no wickets, 52 runs. Oof. She had an all right, she had a decent tournament before that, but that final was, carnage.
4 without loss. Down the track comes Wyatt, nicely running the ball down towards deep third, where Poonam Yadav, a distinctive figure, picks up the far end of the ground. Let me talk you through what we can see. We've got pretty full stands. I think the youngest supporter of all has just made their way in. There's a gentleman in a maroon hoodie with a very young supporter strapped to his chest. He's just looking for a seat.
That is such a strong look. I love it.
He's wearing his England World Cup shirt, the dad, and the youngster, who can't be more than a couple of months old, is fast asleep on his chest. Beaumont with one into the leg side. Every run's being applauded really enthusiastically by this crowd, and England 5 without loss. It is worth pointing out that, of course, international cricket is not something that should be... We are in the fabulously fortunate position of travelling and seeing these games as we go around Taunton and Worcester and Bristol, but for people in Northampton perhaps it's been some time because of 2020 and the year that it was since an international's been here. As an appeal for LBW is rather retracted from Shikha Pandey. It was going well down leg, and England run through for a leg bye. 7 without loss at the end of the first over. So 1 gone, England up and running in this innings. And actually these are big night, and that shouldn't be underestimated. Certainly the noise and the crowd and the volume of the crowd shows us quite what this game means.
Well, considering that Wantage Road, Northampton here, the county ground, doesn't show men's international cricket, the last international they will have seen will have been that West Indies match in 2019. And I think that was a series in which there were two that were scheduled to be hosted here, and one got completely washed out, abandoned in fact, and the other one went ahead a couple of days later. But the last time seeing England women in action here.
Arundhati ready for a first bowl of the tour. 7 without loss, with actually only 3 of the runs coming from the bat. And where are those fielders in the team? I'm going to have to lean over this stand in front of us to make sure I bring you the accurate description of it all, because we have a deep square leg, a wide deep third, and that's your lot. Power play overs, 6 of them. See the fielding restrictions, 25-yard circle. You have to have everyone bar 2 there. And Danny Wyatt, who favours launching that ball over the covers, will she be tempted to try and look and smack the ball towards that church steeple in the distance? As Reddy comes in, right arm over, and Wyatt plays an awkward-looking cross-batted punch.
I like this field from India because, as you say, the sort of inside-out shot over covers is certainly the area that Wyatt likes to eye up to seam bowlers. So it's all set nice and attacking. We saw a sort of a more, I don't know, up and atom approach really from India in the field over the last couple of ODIs. And you feel as though they've retained that, brought that in today as well.
Reddy bouncing in to bowl to Wyatt, who's down the track and lofts it in the air. Several fielders trying to get underneath it. It will drop in no man's land. And it might run towards the deep third boundary, but for a really good bit of work from Radha Yadav to prevent the boundary being scored in quite bizarre fashion. They get through for 3. It was not controlled, I think it's fair to say that.
No, and I think that was the tempter, the one where we'd seen the fielders all up and in. Wyatt thought, right, it's there for the taking. It was just a little bit back of a length. Huge top edge, so huge in fact that it stayed in the air for so long that you felt that somebody couldn't possibly not catch it. There must be a convergence of fielders, but it was a good effort. But yeah, she survives. Maybe that's what Danny Wyatt needed.
Proper Bermuda Triangle stuff.
Good running though,
wasn't it? 3 taken, 10 without loss, 8 balls gone of the game. Remember, in-play clips and highlights on the BBC Sport website and app. You'll be able to see match highlights on the BBC Red Button and iPlayer later on. Ready to bowl to Beaumont. Wide, chopped into the ground towards backward points. Another single is taken. Again, the crowd like that. And there's loads of enthusiasm. And we've down on the boundary edge earlier, is he? And there was a young supporter desperate for a long-range selfie with Heather Knight. Very disappointed they couldn't get a bit closer, but you have to stay behind the barriers and the players have to stay inside the ropes.
Yes, strict COVID protocols considering recent events.
Reddy bowling to Wyatt again, not utterly convincing, but she's going to pick up more runs flying past backward point, and Shikha Pandey will pick up just inside the ropes out towards the scoreboard. Wyatt back for a couple more. 13 without loss. 10 balls into the game.
Arundhati played in all 3 of the T20s against South Africa in March. Only picked up 2 wickets across the series, so particularly successful in a series in which India were roundly beaten.
It's an interesting shift to the field here, is he? We've got the fielders now outside the circle, long on and deep mid-wicket. The Lynn Wilson end, it's Arundhati ready to bowl. It's Danielle Wyatt. Very slow, loopy delivery, which is dug out by Wyatt.
Really good slow ball there. It took Wyatt a little while to adjust, and in the end, all she could do was defend it. You can feel her natural instinct is just to settle her nerves as she wants to go after everything. She's trying to prove what she can do as a responsible top-order player.
And that is the pressure in this situation, isn't it? Because you're very aware that having been missing from the side, you are sort of under the microscope, rather. Another shift to the field. For Beaumont, it is that wide third and backward square leg. Reddy, right arm over. Beats the outside edge. It's far from convincing. That's the end of the over. Wyatt is on 7, Beaumont on 2. England 13 without loss.
I thought it was a good over, actually, from Arundhati Reddy. A few off it, but equally, I think she bowled really cleverly. Good areas, good fields as well, attacking, trying to tempt Danny Wyatt into playing over the top of the ring field, inducing that huge top edge that already will be upset, I guess, that she didn't get that wicket for it because she deserved it. And then a well-executed slower ball as well, and that final delivery just passing the outside edge. So a good comeback from the South Africa series for Reddy, who's been with this India team, watching them play the test, the ODI, in and around the bubble. I mean, it must be fatigue setting in, but at the same time, settling in to English conditions.
Start of the third over, we'll see Shikha Pandey bowling again. We've got a deep square leg and a third as a gentleman in a light blue India shirt finds his seat in front of us. And Shikha Pandey moving in once more. Beaumont, a little bit of a tangle, plays the ball to short fine leg, but there's no run to be had. Some more supporters, all in India shirts, walk in front of our position at the back of the stand. I love this view. You feel right in amongst it, because we're pretty much in the crowd here.
Little India flag in front of us as well. You can hear the chants from a few of their fans.
Beaumont is on 2. Waits with bat raised. Getting it on the leg side. Could be trouble here. Throw comes in and misses. I think Wyatt probably would have been home, but she hesitated for a moment and it wasn't exactly certain.
Sneh Rana there. The veteran, a cheeky smile. She knew she had 2.5 stumps, 3 stumps to aim at. But Wyatt is awfully quick between the wickets. She must have been backing up a fair one as well.
They always say Danny Wyatt wins things like the yo-yo and bleep tests.
Yeah.
She is the absolute gun athlete, if you like, naturally.
She is, and she was for a long time sort of not the sole gun athlete, but I think a lot of players have caught up with her now.
Wyatt waiting, defending, again wants that single into the offside. Once more the pressure put on India's fielders, and again another single is stolen. So England, while they aren't finding the boundary, they are rattling along in terms of these singles. 15 without loss.
I mean, Wyatt probably still wins all the different tests and things, but if you think about the fitness and the athleticism of some of the women in the squad now, Tash Farron, Amy Jones, Tammy Beaumont's quick as well. Fran Wilson, of course, we've seen what she can do acrobatic-wise in the field. Standards are a lot higher than they used to be.
15 without loss, midway through the third over. Shikha Pandey in, driven, nicely timed, but there's work well done actually by Harmanpreet Kaur at mid-off, and the crowd like that. It was a good, effective drive, but well stopped. 16 without loss.
Seems to be a captain's position around extra cover. Kaur more of a mid-off now.
That was awkward because it was bouncing and squirming off those used pitches.
Dry, if there's going to be a carpet burn there, isn't there?
Yes. Pandey bustling in once again. Run down towards deep third by Wyatt, who's immediately looking for the 2 runs. You'll cool down is what Tammy Beaumont says, but there isn't a second run there. 17 without loss. Speaking of fitness tests, during the long nights of the cricket social during the winter, during the India Test series and the commentary of the Sri Lanka men's tests earlier on this year, I think it would have been about 4 or 5 a.m. Our colleague Simon Mann asked if anyone fancied a competition for who could do the longest plank. You know, where you rest on your elbows?
Oh my goodness, that sounds horrendous.
Here comes Shikha Pandey to bowl to Tammy Beaumont. Cut away, nicely timed, but really well stopped at backward point. A couple of runs will be taken if they're quick, and they're quick enough. That was a guaranteed boundary had that hand not reached out and prevented the ball on its way. 19 without loss, 3 overs gone. It was one of the more remarkable things I've seen at a cricket.
Yes, I'm sure I saw a picture of Mel Jones, former Australian international, now broadcasting with Sky, doing press-ups in the commentary box of recent. I mean, I always thought that was one of the benefits of retiring and making a living from watching cricket, you didn't have to indulge in all of these things.
What, the exercise bit?
Well, yeah, the competitive exercise bit.
Yeah. Well,
each to their own.
Each to their own.
I'm quite happy watching Danny Wyatt and Tammy Beaumont scamper between the wickets, because that's what they're doing. We haven't had a boundary yet, I don't think.
No, but as I said, the scoreboard's rattling along. 19 without loss, England going at a run rate of 6.3. England's record against India in T20s has played 19, won 15, so it's pretty good. Reddy bowling to Wyatt. Again, a brilliant stop at backward point. That really is superb fielding. It's Yadav who stopped that on the way to the ropes. A gasp from the crowd.
No, it's been good fielding, and again we saw that in that last ODI. Just a little bit more oomph about this India side. They're settling into their groove. It's there for the taking, you can feel it. Another change to the field with Wyatt on strike. They're really trying to unsettle there, aren't they? Mid-wicket goes out, square leg comes in. Long on as well, it's out.
Reddy comes in again. Wyatt looks to give herself room. Yadav has to stumble a little bit as she fields at backward point. Throw comes in and hits. There's a cheer from the crowd, but Wyatt is home. 20 without loss. It may be the proximity to the crowd here, but it feels like as lively an atmosphere as we've had across this series, is it?
Yes, it does. I don't know whether it's down to the fact that it's Northampton or whether people are getting a bit more confident and coming back into public settings, or maybe it's just the fact that India are playing T20s and there's a large diaspora up here, a lot of support for the away team.
Reddy to Beaumont, defending. It's on middle stump, nothing she can do with it. Beaumont 5 from 7, Wyatt 10 from 13.
It's one of the lovely things when you do have the games around Derby, around Northants, is there is a strong South Asian following, and it can make some really fun matches, good party atmospheres in the crowd.
There's a really good crowd in. Most of the seats in front of us are taken. Ready to bowl to Beaumont, swinging into the leg side. That should be the first boundary, and it is. Tammy Beaumont whipping the ball away, and supporters rise as the Flames do to acknowledge a really excellent shot. 24 without loss.
It's almost one of those where you thought, right, we've had our warm-up, we've run hard between the wickets, now I just need to stand and deliver. Classic wristy Beaumont shot.
That's an excellent shot, that, from Beaumont. As you say, there's an element of, right, we've sort of seen how this is playing now. Deep mid-wicket has now gone to plug that hole as deep third comes up inside the circle. We've got a long on as well as Reddy moves in. 2 balls left of the 4th over. Ready to bowl to Beaumont, looking to give herself room into the leg side again, but doesn't quite connect with it. They do get through for a single to keep the pressure on the fielding side. 25 without loss.
We talked at the start a little bit about the pressure on Wyatt coming back into the England team, but Beaumont as well, after having a sort of stellar run coming into the ODI series and then continuing it. I think she scored, was it something like 5 consecutive half centuries for England, and then 87 not out in the first ODI, but since then 10 and a duck. So she wants to get back into form as well.
25 without loss. Ready to Wyatt, lofted in the air. I think it'll clear the infield. There's going to be a chase to prevent it hitting the boundary. Ball plugs a little bit, 2 in pursuit, and the ball is just about pulled in. Good running once more though, 3 taken.
That was incredible. They managed 3 there. I mean, the boundary isn't that far, and it went high, but that was good running. I mean, they must be absolutely knackered by now. They scored 28 runs, just the 1 boundary. Everything else has just been scarpering between the wickets. I just want to be scoring boundaries for the rest, to be honest.
4 overs gone, 28 without loss. It's interesting, you talked about it the other day during the 3rd and final one-day international, Izzy, about how post the 2016 World Cup, there was a real shift in the focus towards fitness in the England side when Mark Robinson became the England head coach. And so much attention has been paid to boundary hitting, power hitting in the women's game as being a key focus to drive the game forward. But also when pitches and grounds dictate that boundary scoring is that much harder, having the core fitness to allow the singles to be taken and pushed for makes such a difference too. Pandey bowling and cramping Wyatt for space to prevent the single as it's played into the offside.
It's funny because we've almost seen it a little bit in the men's game as well. When you think about sort of the David Malan types and the Joe Root types and the ODIs perhaps, and I mean you could probably extrapolate towards T20s as well, is that it's the players that almost score runs without you realising it. You know, suddenly you look up and oh my goodness, they're on 40. And there's a few of those in this England side.
Pandey to Wyatt. Well, you remember that shot. Hook round the corner and 4. Really good shot. Wyatt's first boundary. She moves to 17. England 32 without loss.
It does feel like a bit of an ominous feeling, doesn't it? You just get the sense that England now warmed up, both literally and figuratively. They've got their eye in. They've managed to keep the run rate up, not through boundaries, but from really good, intent running. And now, are these two starting to get into their groove? India need a wicket. They need one soon.
Wasn't that leg side-ish either from Shikha Pandey. Just helped on its way from Wyatt, who took that step into the offside. Here comes Pandey again. Blue towel poking from the back of her trousers. Wyatt happy to run the ball down towards Wyatt's third. 1 run taken. It's all it'll be. Good fielding from Poonam Yadav. Midway through the 5th over, England 33 without loss. Let me remind you, tomorrow it's the second ODI in the series between England and Pakistan's men at Lord's. A capacity crowd will be there, as will Test Match Special, and you'll be able to hear every moment of the game on 5 Live Sports Extra and on Radio 4 Longwave and on the BBC website and app, of course. In comes Pandey, defended into the leg side from Beaumont. Coverage underway in that one. 10:45 ahead of an 11 o'clock start, so do look out for that, with England looking to take a 2-0 lead in the series with a side beyond makeshift, I think. Is he?
An unexpected 2-0 lead in the series, I think it is.
I was looking at my phone on Tuesday morning when that news broke.
But when the news broke that England's men were going to have to select a whole new squad from the 18 that they had because of 3 COVID positive tests amongst the staff and players.
I think it was 7 in total.
7, 3 players and 4 staff.
Indeed. Shikha Pandey bowling to Beaumont, who tries to paddle. Not sure she got anything on it, but it's going to be 4 onto the total for England. It is bye, signalled by Sue Redfern. And England just starting to rattle along a little bit here. 37 without loss.
I thought she may have bowled her there. I should have been looking for the zing bails, to be honest. But that's the kind of audacious shot we see so often from Tammy Beaumont. I mean, I interviewed her a couple of years back, and I asked her, is it to do with the keeping? Because she gets really square on when she's batting to play all these ramp and scoop shots. She does it really well, and that was just such a feather, a tiny feather. Lovely shot.
37 without loss. Final ball of the 5th over. Pandey bowling to Beaumont, who again tries a little ramp, gets nothing on it, and it's collected behind the stumps. 37 without loss after 5. Beaumont on 10, Wyatt on 18. Just a final thought before I depart, Izzy. Though I didn't get the call up, I was closer than I had been 24 hours previously.
Yes, I feel as though a lot of men past the age of, I don't know, 30 odd, you kind of think, you get that little feeling in your heart suddenly, oh right, I'm a bit closer to England cricket than I used to be.
So that is progress, you see. Right then, I'm leaving. The score is 37 without loss. And Izzy, a few more words from you, then Emily Windsor will be joining us for the first time today.
Yeah, we saw a few things on social media with Ravi Papara and James Anderson and I think Stuart Broad putting their hat in the ring to wind back the clock, get them in their pyjama clothing, coloured clothing. They can go with a white ball.
They certainly can. Spin into the attack now for the final over the power play. Interesting move this from India. They need a wicket here, England on top. So Deepti Sharma into the attack for the first time, and it will be Danny Wyatt to face the first delivery. Just a long on and a deep mid-wicket out the circle. So Danny Wyatt will be looking to go over that favoured offside as in comes Sharma to Wyatt. She bowls, and that's chipped in the air over the top of Deepti Sharma, come through for a single. 38 without loss, and Wyatt moves on to 19. That was a golf shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, she got caught between two minds, didn't she? And didn't quite get to the pitch of the ball. Deepti can really, she likes to trap you, lure you out of your crease.
Just a chip onto the fairway.
Yeah, something like that. That's about right.
So in comes Deepti Sharma again, this time to Tammy Beaumont. She bowls. Tammy advances and plays out to deep long on there. Think about two. And their fielder does well out there. It'll just be a single. Beaumont moves to 11:39 without loss. England. Do you say this is quite a balanced power play? India haven't let England get away from them, but England again, no wickets down. They've got a lot to come.
I feel the no wickets down is quite an important thing at this stage, especially with these two in.
In comes Sharma to Wyatt, who's gone to sweep. She swept well. She split the two fielders. Is this going to race away for four? Yes, it does. Fantastic batting from Danny, manipulating the field, and four more to her.
Yeah, well weighted, well watched. A little fuller, perhaps a bit straighter as well. Instead of dancing down, it was a big stride forward. Confident shot, splicing the field on the leg side. Mandhana there at backward square. And there was a short fine as well, but she got it through there. It's a fast outfield here at Wantage Road.
43 without loss then. Wyatt 23 from 19. In Sharma comes again to Wyatt. She advances this time. She swings hard, and that's a crowd catch. You hear them in the background, but straight into the ground and into Sharma's hands.
I was looking intently at the reaction from Sharma there because I wasn't quite sure whether it was a catch myself from this angle. We're behind the facing batter, and for a moment there you thought that she'd taken a clean one.
In comes Sharma again to Wyatt. Advances, hits over the offside, her favoured offside over extra cover. Will that go all the way, or will it plug? Fielder does well, pulls it back in. That's fantastic fielding. I imagine we'll have a look at that. But they come back for two, and Danny Wyatt moves to 25-45 without loss.
Just trying to see who it is there. Harmanpreet in the end came and helped out. I think it might be Sneh, Rana. Ooh. And we're just having a look at the video replay and a few oohs and ahs from the crowd, because did her knee just collide with the cushioning around the outfield to mark the boundary edge before she managed to get the ball back in. There's a lot of rock and roll it's on the replay right now.
I think that could be four, you know.
Oh, that's a real shame, because it was a really good effort. Got there just in time, nice diving slide, but it's one of those where I think you've just got at the same time hand on ball and knee on the boundary edge. This must be what, the 10th rock and roll right now?
I wouldn't like to be making this decision, if I'm honest. It's all on that back foot that was over the boundary rope. Whether it touched the floor in time, that's touch and go. Now we've got a different angle to look at.
Oh, it's all happening. Arundhati Reddy it is, in fact. And yes, we're just in. I think she's all right. I'd give it to her for the effort alone, but obviously that's not how these things work. It's actually really difficult, because I don't think they're going to have a clear answer, because as you say, that right foot coming over the sponge sort of lining, the lining itself obscures any vision of the foot touching the ground on the outside.
Yeah, it's certainly a tough one. I don't think anyone knows. Now we've got conversations between fielders, batters. Looks like Wyatt's rejigging her grip in the middle. She's not that worried.
Well, not at all. I mean, it's boundary or a couple of runs, isn't it? I think you're feeling okay. It's not a wicket review, but it is a boundary one. And actually, to be fair, in T20s, when you only have 120 balls, every run does count, and a 4 is signalled. There we go. There's a cheer, a mock cheer really from the crowd. Poor old Arundhati. It was a really top effort, but in the end, in vain.
Danny Wyatt then, 27 off 21 now. That was her favoured shot over that offside. The ring is still up. So Deepti Sharma has got one ball remaining of this 6th over. Last ball of the power play. She bowls, advances and plays to mid-on. Will just be a single to finish the power play. 48 without loss, England, and you'd say they're on top here.
Yeah, I think so. After 6 overs, not to have a wicket and to have 2 very explosive batters just about getting going. We're seeing them hit the boundary rope. Didn't hit a boundary until the 4th over, but that was okay because of the running between the wickets. They really enjoy batting together, these two.
Yeah, it's good to see them back as well. And for me, I've played with Danny over the previous, like the Rachel Hayhoe competition and the Charlotte Edwards Cup, and for her to come back in an England shirt and she's made a start here, it'll be really important for her. She goes on, and really chuffed for her.
Yeah, but I mean, she was pretty surprised, but she's just disappointed not to be in that ODI side. And what was it like? What was she like? I imagine she was buzzing around the Southern Vipers camp, just wanting to make an impression, stake her claim.
Yeah, definitely. She's great to have around, and she's such good fun that, I mean, it was lucky for us to have her, really, because she scored runs and runs for us at the Vipers, and we as young players learn from her. But yeah, to see her back in the England shirt, ultimately that's what we want to do. So a leg spinner into the attack then, Poonam, Yadav. Field is obviously spread now, but still, interestingly, a wall of fielders on the offside to Danny Wyatt. A long off is out on the rope. They're just having some more conversations. The Indians wanting to get this field right. They need this breakthrough. 3 fielders outside the circle on the leg side. A long on, a deep mid-wicket, and a deep square leg. Very interesting field, this. Very interesting.
Very calculated. And you think about, we're out of the power play, so they've got a few more fielders to sprinkle around the boundary edge, and they've packed them down onto the onside.
There's almost a long on and a mid on, which I haven't seen, I don't think, ever.
Yeah.
In comes Poonam Yadav to Wyatt. That's slow and floaty, play and miss outside the off stump by Wyatt. You've got to wait for that. 48 without loss.
Really odd, really. So you've got a long off, it's quite wide, and then you have a hybrid long on / mid wicket, and then a mid wicket on the boundary, and then a square leg on the boundary. Those are the 4 outside.
Yadav floaty, and that's hit out into the mid wicket sweeper. They come through for a single. There is a wall of fielders out there on that rope. 49 for none, then Wyatt to 29. So no fine leg in place, which would be interesting if they change this to Tammy, because she really does like that paddle and will want to manipulate the field. No, they don't. Verma in at mid-wicket on the 1. Again, almost a mid-on and a long-on here. A very, very strange field. So no fielders behind square as Yadav bowls. And there she goes. She goes for that paddle. She's hit that quite hard. The fielder at deep square has to come round, and she does. But they pick up another couple, does Beaumont. She moves to 13 and 51 without loss. And that is the 50 up for England, and the crowd applauding. No wickets lost. Fantastic start for them.
Yeah, people just settling in their seats, getting a few beverages in, a bit of food as well. A gentleman to my right who's balancing, I think, 3 pints of beer. He couldn't clap, but he wanted to.
Change of field then. That has prompted a fine legs now in place and no mid-wicket. As Yadav into Tammy, who advances, hits down the ground. There's a cry for catch it, but she's too square. 1 bounce, and they pick up just a single from Tammy Beaumont. 52 for none.
Although I can see why they put a fielder there. So this is this hybrid between, it's not quite long on because it's too wide. It's not quite a mid-wicket, but it's too straight. But it was around that area. It landed a bit short for her to catch it, but it was the right line, so to speak. So they've done their homework on Danny Wyatt.
Yadav in again, this time to Wyatt. This is loopy, that's pulled away into the onside. It finds the more conventional mid-wicket, if you like, and it's just a single. Danny Wyatt looked frustrated there that she didn't punish that, but no ball.
Yes, I was wondering whether they were going to call that. It was so loopy, and Wyatt had come down quite a lot down the track, but it did look pretty high, full toss there from Poonam Yadav, not quite getting into her stride. And that means, I think Wyatt will be a bit aggrieved there because they ran a single, and it means that Tammy Beaumont has got the free hit.
First free hit then of the night. Yadav in to Tammy Beaumont. She's given herself square. There'd just be a single. And Tammy will move on to 15, 55 for none.
Good comeback really there from Yadav. It's a flatter delivery. Couldn't get underneath it, a bit full as well. for Beaumont to be able to sweep.
She is a really difficult bowler to face.
Yes, yes.
You've got to put all the pace on the ball. As in comes Yadav again, this time to Wyatt, who advances, and that's hit out to deep mid-wicket. They think about 2, they're running hard, but it'll just be a single short of boundary there to our right. Wyatt moves to 31, 56 for none, and that's 7 overs gone.
So 8 off the over. Danny Wyatt, 31 from 26. Beaumont there, 15 for 17. I thought she had a few more, but I think there was a scoop that I felt that she'd done quite well to get in that position a couple of overs back, and it was given leg byes. So poor old Beaumont didn't get them to her name, but I'm sure she won't worry too much about that, because at the moment England going well. 7 overs in, wicketless, I think is the key point. 56 runs on the board, but 2 of the most explosive batters in world cricket at the crease. Not quite timing it the way they want to at the moment, but I think that they know that they're in a pretty good position, a good platform.
Certainly have put on, and although Tammy probably hasn't got the ball away as she'd like, there's a 50 partnership, and the batters to come for England, the depth in that batting line is impressive, so they can really go here, these two. So change of bowling. Radha Yadav into the attack, the left arm spinner.
From one Yadav to another.
And it's not Yadav bowling 2 overs in a row. We're not quite at the 100 ball yet.
Oh yes, you've had to get your head around that, I'm sure.
Yeah, 1 T20 game left and then into the 100 for the women.
I think I'll have to take a few notes before I start commentating on that. I think they're going to commentate on it as a countdown more than anything, so it'll be a whole new ball game.
Be testing your maps, is he?
Right.
So the left arm spin of Radha Yadav. It'll be Danny Wyatt to face as she bowls, and then she's hit player miss outside the off stump, tried to hit that 2 square again. 31 Danny Wyatt. Fielders all outside the circle, deep cover, long off, long on, and a deep mid-wicket. Good field this to Danny Wyatt. She likes to hit straight down the ground, she likes to hit through the covers. In comes Yadav again. She's gone for a reverse, and again a miss. They're appealing. And the umpire's not moved. The keeper is interested, obviously. They've got a review here. There will be conversation with the captain, and they have reviewed it. The keeper seemed very convinced there.
Yes, and it was an interesting appeal, wasn't it? Because the bowler wasn't interested. The keeper went up straight away, and then only after the keeper had gone up did we see the rest of the fielders kind of get behind it. And then with a not out given on field, there was that conversation between captain and keeper. What was it exactly that you heard? And I didn't hear anything from here. I didn't see anything, and I wonder.
Looking at
glove,
Danny's
maybe?
reaction there, I think potentially glove. It didn't sound woody at all, but great take from the keeper as we're watching that replay. It's either turned or it's hit something.
Yeah, we're just seeing Richa Ghosh there behind the stumps. It's come off with a bit of bounce, and to the naked eye it feels as though it missed the bat as Wyatt sort of rotated the bat in her hands as she was trying to sweep it along the ground.
If it's hit anything on the replay, it's going to be the end of the bat as we see ultra edge now, and it has hit the bat, and Wyatt knew. That's Wyatt, will be Wyatt gone. Fantastic review from India, and Danny Wyatt will be dismissed here at Northampton.
Really good there from the keeper, Richa Ghosh, coming into this side. Nobody else really saw or heard anything. The bowler certainly didn't. The rest of the field only going up once they saw the keeper. But the keeper was adamant, Ghosh was there. And that's a really important wicket. Oh, they would have been kicking themselves if they hadn't reviewed it. 31 from 28. Danny Wyatt has to go, and India finally have that breakthrough.
Yeah, they do. I think Wyatt will be disappointed. She got going, she got a start, but in comes Natalie Sciver then for England. Powerful batsman, and she's got the freedom here because of that partnership between Beaumont and Wyatt to go as she swings the bat as like a helicopter, warming up those shoulders. Nat Sciver comes to the crease. 56 for 1 then, England.
Slight height disparity between the two batters in the middle right now. We've got a very tall, powerfully built Nat Sciver against the diminutive former gymnast, in fact, of Tammy Beaumont.
So, different field to Sciver. Long off is up into the circle. And they're thinking about getting their field right, the angles right, it's so important. Sciver, a good sweeper of the ball. I'm surprised we haven't got a deep square leg out. But in comes Yadav to Sciver. She bowls, and that's cut away through the offside. She's hit that hard. She's hit that cleanly. The fielder can't get there. 4 runs. What a way to get off the mark, Natalie Sciver.
Ooh, a little bit of conversation going on between Shafali, Verma, and possibly her captain Harmanpreet there, because Shafali was fielding a backward point inside the ring. It was struck hard and fast, but you felt that she could have put a dive in, perhaps. There was a horrid dry patch around there. But I think she may have thought that the fielder was a bit squarer of the wicket on the boundary.
In comes again, flight this time. Sciver moves her feet and plays up to long on. Sheer move to 5, 61 for 1, England.
Just going back to that review for the catch point, I forgot as well, Richa Ghosh is only 17. You think to stand up and say, yes, we need to use this review.
She was confident, wasn't she? The minute she took
indeed.
that catch. And the captain backed her. In comes Radha Yadav, the left arm spinner. Beaumont goes back but can only find extra cover. Will be a single. Good over this from India. Picked up the wicket of Danny Wyatt. And just a 5 from it so far. 1 ball remains from the left-handed Yadav. She bowls to Beaumont, flight, and she advances. She's played that nicely up to long on. They think about 2 here. Sciver says no. Great fielding. And Beaumont moves to 16. 62 for 1. 8 overs gone then.
Well, we've got the wicket in that over. Sciver started off pretty quickly indeed. A 4 boundary from her first ball faced. She's one that likes to move her feet as well. It's a proper shot though, wasn't it, that first one? Pure timing. Not tried to overhit the ball, and the ball races away on these outfields. So, what score here do you think England are going to need to be targeted? I can ask you that as I'm in the box seat. I feel you're the one that's more in the midst of playing T20s and things at the moment.
In comes Poonam Yadav. The leg spinner to Beaumont. She bowls, she advances, turns that into the onside. She may have split the 2, but it's just a single again. Excellent boundary fielding from India. Beaumont moves to 17, 63 for 1.
I mean, with this start, with the batters, the depth and the explosiveness you've got to come, and just the 1 wicket, surely you'd be eyeing up the 150.
Yeah, definitely. I'd hope from here they could get 160 maybe. I think it all depends if a batter gets after someone, as in comes Yadav, and that's turned into the onside. Playing out to that mid-wicket sweeper, again just a single. Bowling to her field well hit is Poonam Yadav, just a single. And I feel like India will be happy with singles. It really is the boundaries that take games away from the opposition. Not tried to target that offside yet. So 3 fielders in the ring. As in comes the leg spinner Yadav again, a lot of flight. Beaumont plays up to long off this time. Nice straight bat. Sheer move to 18 off 21. 65 for 1 England. Clear skies. Well, cloudy skies. But
muggy feel, isn't it?
Yes. It's certainly cricket weather, as Yadav in again, pulled hard by Sciver. That is pure timing. Splits 2 fielders that are extremely close together. 4 runs to Sciver. Wow.
You were saying a little bit earlier, Emily, that with someone like Poonam Yadav, you've got to generate your own pace, your own power off the ball. And I tell you, if there's a woman to do that, it's Nat Sciver. Yadav bowls so slowly that you've got to almost wind up like a jack in the box, kind of get that spring going. And then bang! That went so fast across the outfield.
Used the depth of her crease well there. Went back and across and helped it on its way. So you feel like this is going to be even flightier as Yadav bowls. Yes, it is. And Sciver moves her feet this time. Has she split the two here now? No, she hasn't. Mid-on does well. They just come through for a single, but Sciver again hitting the ball cleanly. She moves to 11, 70 for 1. Just 5 deliveries she's faced now, and she's already made an impact.
Good fielding there from Smriti Mandhana. She's very fast across the outfield. We saw her take a stunning catch in the last ODI, running in from long on. Safe pair of hands.
Poonam Yadav into Beaumont this time, who's gone for a sweep. It's a wide ball signalled by the umpire, Sue Redfern. Beaumont on 18. She's still not hitting the ball quite as well as she would like to hit, but she's still at the crease. As Yadav into Beaumont again. She uses her feet this time, hit down the ground. There's a cry for catch it, and the catch is taken. Beaumont is dismissed, caught by Mandhana, out on the rope for 18, and England now 71 for 2.
Just talking about how good a fielder Smriti Mandhana is in the outfield. How safe her hands are. She's another athlete. We're talking about the Beaumont and the Wyatts, who are fast between the wickets. And Mandhana is both fast across the outfield and safe when the ball does eventually duck and dive towards her. Just needed to set herself underneath it. Took a reasonably simple catch. So there, India have done the first bit. They've got the 2 openers out a little bit later perhaps than they would have wanted. But Tammy Beaumont departing for 18 from 22 deliveries. It's both the Yadavs. Poonam gets this one. Radha got Danny Wyatt in the previous over. But now we have... It's funny because I think you've got Beaumont and Wyatt, quite similar statures, quite short as well, very fast between the wickets, sort of play a 360-degree game, whereas you've got now Sciver and Heaven Knight, the captain, walks out, and they're the ones with the crunching drives that set themselves a nice base, generate their own power.
Yeah, this England batting lineup, the batters just keep coming and coming. So India here have picked up 2 wickets within 2 overs, and they're going to need to pick up more. So change of bowling. It is the left arm spinner again as she bowls tonight. That's cut, but only finds points. So a dot ball. 71 for 2. It's Radha Yadav now, the left arm spinner from the wanted road end. Change of field again. Knight, a good sweeper of the ball, so they have dropped that deep square. Deep square, deep mid-wicket, long on, all out on the leg side. Just a short fine in the ring as she bowls again, and that's played back to the bowler. Another dot ball. Good pressure this from India. Knight just trying to use her feet and hit into that space, but she couldn't quite execute it.
Great diving stop. My Radha Yadav, T20 specialist these days.
Radha Yadav then. Left arm over the wicket bowls, and that's swept hard by Knight, and that will be 4. That's straight out the middle of the bat again. Well batted, Heather Knight. She moves to 4, 79 for 2. 75 for 2, sorry.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about, generating your own power. 2 slow bowlers on at the moment, really annoying, fiddly bowlers. But a big stride forward, set herself, set the base. Knight, they're confident. 46 she scored in that final ODI, a losing cause in the end on a tricky pitch.
Change of field here then. They've dropped long off. Deep square comes up. So they're going to have to bowl full here as she bowls, and she's gone for a reverse sweep, and she can only find backward point. That's actually well bowled. I think she might have followed her there, so that's a dot ball.
Yeah, it was one where Knight got down really early, didn't she, into position, and you almost heard her kind of exhale in frustration when she realised where the ball was coming and how slowly it was.
Yadav, that was a dead ball. She sort of half bowled it, and then Knight wasn't quite ready. So back to her mark again. Knight composes herself, the England captain, at the crease with Natalie Sciver. In comes Radha Yadav tonight, and that's off the back foot, just played out to the cover sweeper. Will just be a single. Knight will move to 5, and the score 76 for 2.
These two just timing it from the off a little bit better than we saw the two openers. Experienced, accomplished players.
Same field then to Sciver as Yadav bowls, and Sciver moves her feet, plays over extra cover. Wow, that is a fantastic shot. That's gone all the way for 6. Effortless from Sciver. She's having a party here. She moves to 17, 82 for 2.
That was a gorgeous shot. Up and over. Ring field. Inside the ring on the offside. Quick feet there from Sciver. It was one of those lofted drives, just had enough of it to go over the rope. First 6 of the innings on the brink of midway in the England innings. 10 overs gone, 82 for 2. And that 160, well, that's like, I was gonna say 150, that's rubbish. They'll be sailing past that at this rate.
Yeah, they certainly will. Henry just rearranging the furniture. So it'll be a change of bowling then from the Lynn Wilson end, as Henry Moran joins us next to us, and Izzy will be jumping out.
From a very low base, Emily, I've just been remarkably stupid in terms of rearranging this furniture.
I'm still concerned where you're going here.
Here we go. We're in position. Right then, everybody. Let's keep calm. Knight's on 5. As Rana is in. Knight swivelling, pulling into the leg side. And there is no run. Some rather disappointing news for fans of the 100 in the last hour or so. Lise Perry has pulled out of the competition due to personal reasons. The superstar all-rounder from Australia, who was due to be playing for the Birmingham Phoenix, will not be taking part in the tournament. Her replacement has yet to be named. You can read the full story on the BBC Sport website. Here comes Rana creeping in again. Knight forward, a little flick of the wrist, into the leg side it goes. 1 taken to deep mid-wicket, and England moved to 83 for 2.
Yeah, that is a big shame actually, because she was one of the big names still left, one of the only Aussies or of international level that was still to come over. So she was one that I wasn't looking forward to playing against, put it that way.
So from your point of view, it's an absolute crime.
Well, yes. Yeah, we played Birmingham Phoenix twice actually as well with the Trent Rockets.
Yeah,
so
well, there we go.
That's a bonus.
Yeah, it's a bonus for the opponents, disappointment for the tournament, of course. Here is Sneh Rana, 2 on her back, to bowl to Sciver, deep in the crease, clipping the ball out towards the covers, and there's no run.
These two have been timing the ball nicely so far since they've come to the crease. Sciver especially, big wicket needed for India. Sciver's here at the end, she's going to do some damage.
Yeah, you're right. Rana bowling to Sciver, times it so nicely out to deep mid-wicket for 1.
The thing with these two as well, they hit the ball so cleanly,
don't they?
But with little effort. It
Yes.
looks like they're barely even striking the ball and it's flying over the rope.
Yeah. Which is the exact opposite approach to my cricket. Maximum effort, minimum result. 84 for 2. Defended by Knight, and Sciver is quickly back to get a bat in the ground at the non-striker's end. 84 for 2. We've got a ball left of the 11th over. England have a marvellous platform. It's whether they can push on and get to that sort of 180, 190 perhaps. Rana creeping in once more. Reverse sweep is not played perfectly, and a cry of wait there as Radha Yadav does well to prevent the run. End of the over. Sciver will have the strike. 18 from 8, 11 gone. It is 84 for 2. Wantage Road is the venue, and there's high clouds overhead. It's not threatening. It's not the sort of night where you think, well, the rain's going to come in any moment at all. We expect conditions to stay clear. The floodlights are shining brightly. The red brick houses all around, and a venue that has had some brilliant nights in T20 and white ball cricket over the recent years. It's got another one here. Good crowd, good noise, and some really high quality batting from this England pair so far. 84 for 2.
Yeah, and I've been actually really impressed by the Indian spinners. Since the power play, they've come into the attack, they've made an impact straight away. And I suppose that's good signs for England as well, going with the 3 spinners today with Glenn, Eccleston and Villiers. So I'm sure they'll be watching on. Thinking about the Indian spinners picking up the wickets.
Yeah, indeed. Deepti Sharma bowling to Sciver, who again clobbers the ball with brutal timing into the leg side. And the throw comes in from Harleen Deol in the deep and prevents more than just one. Sciver admonishes herself for not picking up more. 85 for 2.
Again, that offside field, the ring, they're in the ring. Tempting Knight.
Yeah, lots of protection on the leg side in the deep. Knight is happy just to nudge the ball forward. Could be trouble at the keeper's end as she's run out. Knight was setting off for the quick single, but Deepti Sharma was quicker, fielding off her own bowling and flinging the ball towards Richa Ghosh, who did the business to remove the England captain. And that will just change things a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly will, and that was an exceptional bit of fielding off her own bowling from Deepti Sharma. Dive into her right. Knight thought that had beaten her, and no, it hadn't. And just the calm, the composure to throw that back into the keeper to take it off, and Knight gone for 6 off 10 balls.
Little shake of the head from Knight. She's run out by Deepti Sharma. Huge credit to Sharma for a really good bit of work, because as you say, it wasn't just getting to the ball, Emily, it was getting across and then having the presence of mind to throw it in that one motion.
And she was on the floor as well,
yeah.
So it's not easy when you're on the floor to release it like that. But again, this England batting lineup, it just keeps coming. Amy Jones in at 5. She had a fantastic start to her domestic competition.
Indeed, back-to-back hundreds in the Rachel Hayhoe-Flint.
These two both clean strikers of the ball as well.
Yeah, you expect Jones to continue with the sort of momentum, and it was this partnership against India in the semi-final of the T20 World Cup of 2018 that got England through to that final, not necessarily by playing, I suppose, the aggressive brand of cricket, but more just keeping that scoreboard moving, not being tempted into the big loose shots that could cause a collapse. Both finished unbeaten with half centuries, and it was really arguably a coming-of-age innings for Amy Jones in particular, who had had a tough time of it missing out in the 2017 World Cup.
Now this is really interesting.
Slip in
play.
Yeah. Deepti Sharma is going to bowl to Amy Jones, tall right-hander. Jones waiting deep in the crease, keeps it a little bit low, but it's dug out. And there's a dot ball, 85 for 3. Some energy from the India fielders, who just feel that one more wicket will see them really back in this.
Yeah, wickets are always important in T20 cricket.
Deep bowling to Jones, who'll get one down the ground. A familiar step into the leg side, and then a violent swing towards long on.
Yeah,
86 for 3.
Wickets just bring that pressure, doesn't it? And it stops the run flow that England had. There was a couple of partnerships where England were on top, and then all of a sudden 3 wickets, and India feel right back in this.
Deepti Sharma to bowl to Sciver, whacks the ball down the ground for 1 more.
But again, I look at this England batting lineup. You've got Sophia Dunkley in next, who's done nothing but impress since coming into an England shirt, and then Catherine Brunt, Sarah Glenn, Sophie Eccleston, who are all very powerful batsmen.
And they can all clear the ropes, every single one of them. Jones twirls the bat in her hands and looks up to see Deepti Sharma approaching. Comes forward, defends, happy just to push the ball into the offside. The over comes to an end, a successful one, 87 for 3, 12 gone. England's run rate is at a pretty healthy 7.25. And they're looking, England that is, to just rebuild a little bit after India have put the brakes on this charge rather. 87 for 3. Just a reminder, tomorrow morning, 10:45 on 5 Live Sports Extra, Radio 4 long wave, and across the BBC Sport website and app. And on BBC Sounds, you'll be able to hear England versus Pakistan, the second one-day international, live from Lords. The last time England played a one-day international at Lords, it was in July 2019. It was against New Zealand, and as I recall, it was quite a dramatic finish. Rana into bowl to Sciver, who's down the track, lofting the ball in the air. Cry of catch it. Fielder coming round won't get there, but does pretty well, Harleen Deol, to stop that ball from squirming away and getting towards the boundary. Good running. We'll see England through for a couple. 89 for 3.
Yeah, that was one of those that sort of teased up for a spectacular catch if you wanted it. But in the end, she did really well. Didn't quite get there. Sciver not quite getting hold of that one, which has been rare for her so far this evening.
89 for 3. Sneh, Rana in once more. Sciver goes hard again into the leg side. She might have found that gap, and she has. What a good shot that is from that Sciver.
Wow, that is pure timing again. How she's beaten this leg side field. They're all really tight out there. But Sciver keeps finding a way to split them, and that will be frustrating for India.
Because the best laid plans, well, Sciver in some ways is playing into them. She's targeting that leg side, which has the protection. But so far, it's not done the job because she just keeps on finding those gaps. 93 for 3.
Sciver looking dangerous. 26 off just 12 deliveries.
26 from 12. As Rana moves into bowl to her, she comes down the pitch, smacks the ball back towards Sneh Rana. The crowd think it's a catch, but it's a bump ball.
That's just how hard she's hitting it as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I think if that had been on the full, I'm not sure Rana would have taken it quite so comfortably, given the power Sciver's striking the ball this evening. Rana to bowl to Sciver, who hits the ball down the ground, very straight, and straight for 4.
Wow, she's playing with those fielders as well, because the ball before split long on and mid-wicket to her right, and now they've just tinkered her to her right a little bit, and now she's gone straight back down the ground to her left. Fantastic batting, manipulating the ball, manipulating the field with pure power.
As you say, she's just toying with the field at the moment, that Sciver. England 3 away from their 100. 97 for 3. We've got 2 balls left of the 13th over. Sciver has 30 from just 14. Sneh Rana creeping in once more. Sciver comes down the track, will get 1 down the ground. It was given more air, more flight. And just the 1 run down to Smriti Mandhana.
Yes, Sciver's really looking dangerous. Jones, all she needs to do here is play that supporting role when you've got a batter at the other end striking the ball as cleanly. Just get her on strike. You don't need to do much else, do you? It's a change of field.
Yeah, we've got
45 comes in to Jones.
Jones waiting, bat raised, hitting the ball in the air, but past the bowler down the ground for 1. That's probably all it'll be, and indeed just a single to finish the over. 13 gone out of the 20. 99 for 3. Just a reminder, if you missed it earlier, India winning the toss, electing to field first. Their captain, not the same as in the ODIs and Test matches. Harmanpreet Kaur is the skipper in the shortest format. And that was the decision made. Well, I think it's the decision that would have been made by both captains, but it was the call that was made by Harmanpreet.
Yeah, teams love to chase now. I feel like men's and women's game teams tend in this short format want to chase down totals. See England men doing it regularly. They always want to bowl first. But England doing the opposite today.
A lot of ice creams are being consumed in the stands, Emily. I'm looking around, and I don't know where the ice cream van is, but it is doing some serious business.
You haven't got Alex Hartley here today either.
No, she leads me down a path of danger when it comes to ice creams. She encourages me, you know.
I feel like it could be the other way around.
No, because I look to her as the athlete of the two of us, and she, you know, she has the fitness instructions that I don't. Jones is on 2. Poonam Yadav tossing the ball up. Jones not really timing it, looking to play the ball through the offside. It finds the hands of Shafali Verma, 17-year-old opener who will be no doubt the wicket that England think about most in this India lineup. Poonam to bowl to Jones, swinging into the leg side. She hasn't found the gap, but will pick up 1 to bring Sciver onto strike. And England's 100's up, 100 for 3. Early on in the 14th over, Sciver's got 31 of them, Jones has 3, and they've got there in pretty good time.
Yeah, they certainly have, and they're going to look to build here. 6.4 overs remain. England at least got to be targeting 160.
Poonam bowling to Sciver, clipped down the ground for 1. This is exactly the tactics England employed in that game in Antigua. Just happy to play Poonam Yadav into the onside quite straight and pick up the singles. Don't risk anything, because she poses such a threat with this loopy leg spin. The ball almost going vertical from the hand of this diminutive figure.
Again, change of field.
Jones on 3. Swinging in the air, it's going to land safely. Fielder at deep mid-wicket coming forward. I'm not sure that is the most judicious shot from Amy Jones, because there's fielders in the deep at deep mid-wicket and it's a long boundary. If she's going to clear the rope, it's going to take a mighty hit.
Yeah, but I feel like batters back themselves these days, especially when you got the class of Amy Jones. They're not going to be fazed by that. You've seen Sciver split the fielders that are out there.
Sciver waiting, down the track she comes, will pick up one at least. It's a little wide of the fielder, long on, but not quite wide enough to prevent the ball being hauled in. So just the one more taken. Final ball coming up with the 14th over, 103 for 3. Jones has 4, Sciver 33. Look out for highlights on the red button and iPlayer of this game later on tonight. Poonam coming into bowl to Amy Jones on 4. Clipping the ball down the ground for 1. And she'll keep the strike at the start of the 15th over, with England in a very healthy position. 14 overs gone, 104 for 3. Emily Windsor and Henry Moran with you on 5 Live Sports Extra. Don't forget there's plenty of T20 Blast action going on this evening. You can follow all of those games and listen on the cricket section of the BBC Sport website and app. I can tell you in those matches if you want some updates of the scores. Well, Gloucestershire have beaten Middlesex by 10 runs. Birmingham Bears need 107 runs from 12 overs against the Worcestershire Rapids, who hit 174 for 6. Durham are 114 for 4 after just 11.5 overs against the Derbyshire Falcons. North had Steelbacks 123 for 4 with 3.5 overs left against Lancashire Lightning. There's rain in the game between Notts Outlaws and Yorkshire Vikings. Surrey 103 for 5 in the 17th over against the Kent Spitfires. Hampshire Hawks, they're back being the Hawks. Hampshire, this is a nice little retro feel. Your part of the world, Emily. 63 for 3, approaching the midway point in that innings against Somerset, and the Sussex Sharks against the Essex Eagles. The Eagles 78 for 1, approaching the midway point of the innings.
I just love all the characters, you know, as you're going through them there. To have the Hawks back at Hampshire, all the fans have loved it. You just see all those mascots, don't you, in the crowds walking around. Just adds that little bit of feel to the cricket.
Yeah, well, we got the Falcons, we got the Hawks, the Steelbacks, the Bears, the Rapids, the Lightning, the Vikings, the Spitfires.
The Sharks.
There's quite the sort of bird focus. The Hawks, the Eagles and the Falcons. Radha Yadav, left arm spin, bowling to Amy Jones. Oh, lovely shot.
That is ridiculous from her. That's 4 runs. Just literally just swatted that through the offside. No fielder there. And Jones again joins the boundary party.
A reverse hit from Jones that was impudent, confident and quite brilliantly executed. And England starting just to show another little surge in their run scoring here.
So it brings a change in field, a short third now, and no 45 or fine leg. Will she play the paddle now? We know these batters can hit 360.
108 for 3. Jones, well, she gets in position, wallops the ball into the leg side, and will pick up 4 more.
Well batted, Amy Jones, and this is where, as a captain, as a bowler, where do you bowl? What field do you set? That it's so impressive now how all these England batsmen can hit 360 and hit so many different areas powerfully. Where do you bowl? So there is conversations between captains and bowler. Poonam Yadav also joining the conversation.
I think it's a really good point you make. It's where do you bowl? Because you've just, every time that you try and switch things around, the run scoring happens in another location. It's almost a sort of, you know, it's like the Wiley coach, isn't it? Every time you lay a trap, that trap is avoided.
And I think batters use their crease so much now that they don't actually, in T20, you don't almost care where your stumps are because you back yourself to hit it. So they're going to move about to manipulate where they can access. So an offside ring now.
112 for 3. Jones hits the ball in the air. She's going to land safely again. Once more, cries of catch it, but a couple of runs will be taken actually because of the little misfield from Arundhati Reddy running in from mid-wicket. And there could be another one actually. No, there won't be. Jones moves to 15. 114 for 3 we have.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy that from India. Every run counts in T20 and fielding is so important. So they'll be disappointed with that extra run, especially when Jones has taken 10 off the first 3 deliveries of this over so far.
Jones comes forward, lofts the ball down the ground, cries of catch. Sneh, Rana won't get there. On the bounce, she'll pick up at long on. There's a young supporter marching up the stairs. I think he's got a little bit bored of the cricket and has decided that stairs are an endless opportunity for fun.
It is amazing what goes through children's mind, isn't it?
Isn't it? She can't be more than 2 or 3. Sciver on strike.
You joining her in a minute, Henry?
No, I think as Sciver clips the ball into the leg side and will get 1 run with a ball left of the 15th over. I think over the years I've climbed those stairs enough times carrying heavy bits of equipment to last a lifetime. There was a season where we always seemed to be on the front row of that stand in front of us, commentating on Northampton, one of their charges to T20 Blast success. Right, final ball of the over. Jones deep in the crease, will cut through the offside for 4. Ball flashes away. The crowd rise again, and Amy Jones moves to 20 from 13. Really good innings this, and a good partnership. What was that over worth? 16 runs from it. 15 overs gone, 120 for 3 is the score. Isabel Westbury is picking up her headset, and she will take up commentary with Emily, you sticking alongside her.
That was a very important over that from England. The over before just went for the 5 runs, and then Amy Jones really put the pressure back on India with 16 from that over just gone. So 5 overs remain here, and I feel like your 150 could be a little below par.
Absolutely, if they can continue at this rate. You just feel that Sciver has been looking splendid. I was looking at sometimes on the cricket statistics websites, they give a measure of control of each shot, or how many shots or the percentage of shots are in control, and at the moment that Sciver is on 100%.
I'm really not surprised. They've all just been proper cricket shots. She just uses her experience, her class, and manipulating these Indian fielders and bowlers. So it brings a seamer back into the attack for India.
Yes, Arundhati Reddy is going to bowl from the Wantage Road end, right arm over. Sciver on strike, she rocks back, punches it into the offside. Bit of work on the boundary there from long off. Coming in a few paces. Broad sun hat on there from Deepti Sharma. All it's doing really is blocking out the floodlights more than any sun in the sky at the moment. But a single then to the total. Sciver moves to 35, 121 for 3. Amy Jones on strike. She's 20 from 13. She waits. Onto her back foot, wide outside off. Just pushes it into the offside. The fielder comes in from cover boundary, and there's a single to the total, 122 for 3.
Very interesting underarm back to extra cover. It makes me wonder whether they're a bit tight for time here, because that's when you see that.
What time are we? So 7:44, and yes, we've still got quite a few overs left to bowl. Reddy in, and there's a scoop shot. Sciver was very early into place, moving across into the offside, and laps it over her left shoulder for 2 runs. Beyond the reach of the wicketkeeper, she moves to 37, 124 for 3. I think India are really behind the rate here. They're going to have to really get a move on, and I wonder if there's going to be a bit of punishment later.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if there is. Sciver didn't quite get hold of that one, but nevertheless she's still on strike. She picks up 2.
Reddy into Sciver. She waits. Big backlift, and she's almost taken the bowler out there. Straight back down the ground. That was a powerful shot. Wow. It was flat. It was in the air. I mean, you could almost say it was a catching chance in theory, but in practice, there was no way she was getting her hand there.
That's one of those, isn't it? As a bowler, you want to get out the way and get out the way quickly. That was hit head height and hit very, very hard back at her. But what a shot from Sciver. Again, pure timing. And 4 more to her total.
Yeah, avoidance tactics there. 128 for 3. Sciver into the 40. She's on 41, not out from 21 balls faced. She's facing again. And that high backlift. This one's driven nicely into the offside. It's going to beat the field, and she does! This cover boundary can't make it. It crunches into the boundary hoarding. And that's back-to-back 4s. Sciver moving to 45, 132 for 3.
This is ridiculous batting now. She's really, really toying with the fielders. Literally, they can be a metre off, and Sciver's just finding a way to beat them. This is very, very impressive batting from Sciver. One the crowd are enjoying, that's for sure.
She was in this vein of form from the off, a 4 to start things off on her first ball. And she's absolutely soaring. Reddy in. Big bat lift again and back down the ground again. It's going to be 4 more. It is 3 consecutive 4s. She moves to 49. And the total, that moves to 136 for 3.
Sciver is just striking the ball so cleanly, and the smile on her face we saw there, and rightly so. If you're batting this well, striking the ball this cleanly, you're just going to enjoy and want to bat and bat longer. Taking a well-deserved drink is Jones and Sciver, but not much running between the wickets. But for these two, the last 2 overs, finding the boundary. So 4 overs left here, 136 for 3.
Well, almost half an hour ago, our colleague or our summariser from the ODIs and the Test, Sneh Pradhan, had tweeted, which planet is Nat Sciver batting on right now? And what is the procedure to move there? I think we're all asking that question. My goodness, she's just on a different level altogether. 51 partnership, then 28 balls. Amy Jones on 21, Nat Sciver 30 of them. And England looking to set quite the imposing total here at Wantage Road in the first T20 between these two sides. England have played 6 T20s over the years at Northants. On each occasion they've batted first, and they have a clean record. They've won 6. Could it be 7 this evening? Deepti Sharma is brought back into the attack.
Good option this, I feel. She's just bowled 2 overs so far, but just to 14 runs. So not picked up a wicket, but she's brought some control into the Indian attack, which is what they need now, and India really need a breakthrough in order to stem these 2.
Right arm over the wicket, and Jones rocking onto her back foot and pulling it. She's spliced the fielders. No, she hasn't. There's some really good fielding. Oh, I don't know if that's touched the boundary rope there at deep mid-wicket.
That'll be one that we'll probably be looking at upstairs.
Yeah, long on and mid-wicket converged at the boundary edge. There was a big dive forward. It was one of those, you got the hand to the ball, but the ball had kept on going. She hadn't quite got hold of all of it. It had fallen under her body, and it's one of those agonising ones. We were already on the floor and had the ball rocked onto the boundary rope. I think they've stopped the 4, only just. We're going to see one of those rock and roll replays again, whether this has hit the boundary rope, but they're back into position, so I don't think they have. They haven't.
That was outrageous though from Sneh Rana.
Yeah.
That was hit hard, and she dived to her right and stopped that. That's a fantastic bit of fielding from India.
2 runs, 138 for 3 then. Jones moves to 23. She's down the track, and this one's going to be 4. Over the top of the ring field, over the top of extra cover and mid-off as well. An inside-out shot, good use of the feet. Jones gets her 4th boundary of the evening.
Yeah, fantastic batting again from Jones, and the crowd are enjoying it. Some young girl underneath us celebrating every single boundary that Jones and Sciver hits here. Good atmosphere, and England certainly putting on a show.
142 for 3. Jones moved to 27 from 16. Now Sciver at the other end on 49.
Where do you bowl here, Izzy? Where do you bowl?
And the off breaks of Deepti Sharma, the highest ranked India bowler in T20s. Up there at number 6 in the ICC World T20 rankings. Not much you can do here, and she doesn't release the ball as she goes through her run through there.
That was very interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if she just wanted to maybe Sciver had worked out, had moved a bit sooner, and she thought, right, she's already in position, I'm not going to let her go. Sciver on 49, she waits. And she tries to sweep a full one. It's down the leg side. And I wonder if she must have got a pad on that or something, because otherwise the wide would have been called.
She was stuck in two minds there, wasn't she? It looked like she was actually going to go for a reverse over the offside, but saw the line of the ball and tried to follow it. But a rare miss from Sciver.
Deepti top of her mark, here she goes, right arm over. Down the track comes Sciver, it's in the air, it's gone high in the air. Is the catch going to be taken? No, it's been tipped over the bar for 6.
Jones parried. That's Jones who hit that cleanly, and that was parried over the rope.
Oh, Sneh Rana underneath that, and it was one of those, she's not the tallest figures, she got one hand to it. It would have been a stunning catch if she got to it, but only managed to fingertip it over. And Jones there with her first maximum of the evening.
Parried over the bar.
Just adjust her gloves. Cool as a cucumber.
Jones really striking the ball well here.
Attempted sweep shot, and there's going to be an appeal for LBW down the leg side, surely. Jones on 33. The score 148 for 3. And the DRS timer pops onto our screens.
Yeah, that was definitely going down the leg side, that one.
I can't possibly review it. I mean, it was pitching down leg, going down leg, hitting the stumps about 3 yards to the left-hand side of Amy Jones. She takes her stance once more, 148 for 3. Final ball of the 17th over. Here comes Deepti. This is good use of the feet.
That is
and fantastic. A lovely diving stop at mid-wicket. The fielder there was quite straight inside the ring. It was hit hard along the ground and into the real rough patch there as well. An outstretched hand means that it's... Did they get a single there, in fact? I think just the one. Just the one.
Through for a single, and that was a Sneh Rana who actually tipped that one over the bar. She got moved into the ring, into mid-wicket. Then she pulls out an unbelievable diving shot. She's been right in the game there. She's on the boundary rope, and now in the ring.
So after 17 overs, 149 for 3. Amy Jones, 34 from 20. Nat Sciver didn't face a ball in that over. Oh, the last ball. No, she didn't face a ball in that over. 49 from 23, so she's been on 49 for a little while. She won't mind seeing the way in which Jones is really motored on as well.
I think that's the beauty, isn't it, with this English batting lineup? They're not just relying on a couple of players. They all can do it, and they can all equally be as destructive. And we've seen Sciver do it, and now she's sort of passed the baton to Jones.
Poonam Yadav is back in the mix. She's 1 for 22 so far. Right arm over the wicket, very floaty leg breaks. And quick running between the wickets for these two. She'll have to hurry. Amy Jones scarpers to bring up the 50 for Nat Sciver.
150 for England.
Oh, the 150. So it was Jones on strike.
Yes. You're right.
Both going at quite the rate. So Nat Sciver now on strike. 49. She waits. She brings down the wicket. Yes, she is. Driving nicely out to long on for her half century. So we've had the 150 up, and now Nat Sciver raises her bat to the crowd. She has been in stellar form this evening. A shake of the hands between the two batters.
Well batted, Nat Sciver. Extremely great striking of the ball.
Jones now crouches, waits, taps her bat down the track, and this has gone high in the air. Has it got enough legs on it? It does. It's another 6.
Jones moves to 41. That is fantastic striking again from England here. Both of these two are just playing with these Indian bowlers, and you just don't know where to bowl when you've got two batters that can hit 360 and hit so cleanly as they are.
Tempting as well. The fielder thought she was in contention. 157 for 3 over the top of long on, and we thought that Sciver was going great guns. Well, Amy Jones is trying to catch her up here. She waits again. Here comes Poonam. Misses a big hoik across the line that time, slightly fuller, thick inside edge, runs along towards the mid-wicket boundary, and they'll settle for their single there. 158 for 3. 2 balls left of this 18th over.
Yadav's a clever bowler though. She is really changing her pace here, trying really hard to not make it easy for these two.
Sciver on 50. Uses her feet, it's in the air, Ariel cries of catch, but it's well wide of the fielder at mid-wicket. It was flat, and the fielder out at mid-wicket boundary can only come in and collect the ball. 51 then for Nat Sciver, 159 for 3. Final ball then of the 18th over. Jones on strike. Poonam tosses the ball between her hands. Here she comes, floaty again. And Amy Jones rocks back, and she's found the fielder there at extra cover in the ring along the ground, and it means it'll be a dot ball to end the over.
And that Nat Sciver 50 was joint fastest 50 in T20. So Wyatt also got it off 24 balls against India in 2018. So Sciver joins the party of 24 balls against India today.
Well, it's been quite the display so far. We talked about the platform, the running between the wickets. England didn't get a boundary until their 4th over, but they've laid it bare here for what's come beyond Wyatt and Beaumont. Knight was run out before she could really get going, but Nat Sciver in 51 from 25 balls. She's going at a strike rate beyond 200. Amy Jones 42 from 24. Trying to catch her up, really. And to think as well about the batting to come. Sophia Dunkley, we know how hard she strikes it. Catherine Brunt. Shikha Pandey, though, is going to come back into the attack. Right arm over, and this is a full toss. It's hit high into the air, into the onside. One bounce 4 over mid-wicket. A full toss to start things from Shikha Pandey. And Nat Sciver said, thank you very much. I'm getting underneath that. I'm in form. I'm seeing the ball like a beach ball. It was a back of the hand, slower ball. In fact, just watching that replay, that's an audacious move from the bowler. First up, especially bowling to Nat Sciver in this vein of form.
Yeah, I don't think Sciver quite got hold of that one, actually.
Yeah, quite. That was a mishit 4.
For 1 bounce 4 as well.
Yeah.
But she does split those 2 fielders well. And 4 more to the England total. They've moved to 163 now. There's 11 balls remaining. England have got to be looking for 180 plus now. These two have really, really put England in a commanding position. Where do you bowl to Natalie Sciver?
You don't, if you can help it. Pandey, right arm over. Sciver on strike, she waits. And this one again, she's got a lot behind that, and shouts of catch, and this is a cracking catch! At long on, Smriti Mandhana diving forward, scoops the ball up before it hit the turf. We saw one almost identical by Smriti Mandhana in the ODI, and this time Harmanpreet Kaur, the captain of this T20 side, has done exactly the same.
Yeah, I feel like the captain's put herself on the rope. She knows where that Sciver is targeting, and she's taken it upon herself to pull out a spectacular catch. And we get to see Sophia Dunkley.
We're just going to wait for a little moment here, because they're just having a look at the replay to make sure that the catch was taken cleanly. Harmanpreet Kaur had to make a lot of ground there, stuck in a full-length dive in front of her. And Sciver's just waiting before she departs the field. Sophia Dunkley is down beneath us, feeling as though she's about to come on. As we watch on the big screen a replay, and it looks like a pretty clean catch to me. I think Sciver knows it is as well. She's got her helmet half off, and she's just waiting for the confirmation to be told to go on her way. She doesn't want to, though. She's had a cracking evening of it so far.
Yeah, that looked like it carried, definitely. I think that was a fantastic catch from Kaur. Diving forward, it's never easy.
So this will leave England 163 for 4. Nat Sciver just waiting confirmation, but I feel as though she'll depart for 55 from her 27. All the fielders are back in place. I think most of us feel as though it's out, but we're still waiting for the replay, and we're going to get a decision in a moment. And indeed, it is confirmation then that Nat Sciver has fallen for 55 though from 27 balls, and it was quite the middle order innings. Really explosive from the off, but it means that Sophia Dunkley, who's been very impressive across the different formats so far, had a good domestic season as well, another hard hitter.
Be interesting the field they set for Dunkley. She won't be facing this first ball, but again, she's a batter that hits unusual areas. She likes to hit through that offside, over that extra cover region. She could be quite one that would be hard to target and defend here for India.
So 2 balls of the 19th over already gone. Pandey, she's got her wicket. She's in once more, and this is a wide ball. I think that's hit off the pitch, in fact. And I wonder, would it be called a wide, or are they thinking about a no ball there? Surely it's just a wide.
No ball.
No ball. It's been called a no ball by the umpire, and it means that familiar sign of a free hit is going to be given to Amy Jones. And well, if you're on 42 from 25, a free hit right now in the 19th over, that's a gift.
It certainly is. That was a great stop by the keeper, Ghosh, diving to her right off a seamer.
Pandey, free hit ball into Jones. Big backlift, doesn't get much on it. Miss hit really into the onside, and they're going to think about coming back for 2. They settle for the single, and that was probably the right thing to do. I mean, Dunkley running back into the danger end, danger of diamond duck there.
Dunkley, though, is quick between the wickets, and I'm sure she will be looking to get Jones back on strike as much as possible. But a clean striker of the ball herself. She's been in fantastic form so far this year, so I'm sure she's going to want to join the party here.
3 balls left of this 19th over. Onto her back foot and just turning into the onside there, Dunkley. And that's exactly it. They're going to come back for 2. No, just the single. Brings Jones back on strike. Dunkley off the mark straight away. 166 for 4.
Yeah, this better bowling from Pandey. I think that was a good option from her. They've just stemmed the boundaries slightly.
16 T20 matches to Dunkley so far. Average of just under 20. She feels as though her career is only just getting started though. Pandey into Jones on 43. She waits. Down the track is high in the air. There's a woman underneath it. Down at the long off boundary. And I think this could be an absolutely cracking catch.
That was ridiculous. That was almost 3 attempts at it.
Harleen duel there. She watched, she waited, she moved. Quick feet. She knew that she was near the boundary. She caught the ball. She knew she was going over with the momentum of it. She chucked it back in. And then she pulled out a dive to finally pull off the catch, and we're going to see many replays of this as they go back and forth, rock and roll it, check it, but I think that's out, and I think that was an absolutely superb catch.
That was one that was going to be watched and watched and watched all over the world, and again, that's probably one of the best catches I've ever seen, because not only was it a fantastic stop originally, but then to flick it back and then take another diving catch. Wow, she was flying in the air. That was incredible.
Harleen duel, take a bow. The awareness, the hand-eye coordination, the athleticism, it's all there on show. I hope that little clip does the rounds on social media like you've never seen before, because it deserves it. And as well, what a wicket. Amy Jones, she was going so well. 43 from 26. Again, we're still seeing the rock and roll, but come on, I can see this was out. Catherine Brunt just hovering down by the boundary rope. Harleen duel knows it's out. She's got her hands on the hip, just waiting for the umpires. Come on, just give me confirmation. I know it was a cracking catch.
The funniest part is as well, Deol stood right next to Jones.
She is indeed. So Jones punches gloves with Brunt, who speeds onto the field, but she has to go 43 from 27 balls. So 2 really important, really good innings from both Nat Sciver and Amy Jones, combining in the middle to put on a partnership of almost 80. They put on, I think, 78.
2 quick wickets
together.
Then gone for England, so 2 new batters at the crease now, so it'd be interesting how quickly these 2 can go at it, because there's not long left.
But just think of those 2, it's absolutely stellar innings, required absolutely stellar catches to dismiss them. Here comes Shikha Pandey, right arm over into Dunkley, because they crossed, and there's an appeal there for a stumping. The zing bails go up, and did Sophia Dunkley just lose her balance? She went back into her crease, and I wonder In doing so, she's just raised her back foot, trying to steady herself, and the umpire's not sure either, so he has gone upstairs. The final ball there of the 19th over, and I don't think Sophia Dunkley knows either. She's going to have to watch nervously.
It's going to be all on timing this, because she did lose her balance, so she did lift that foot up, but did the keeper time that take of those bails well enough?
Oh, we're just seeing a replay there, and I don't know. I think she might be out, because her back foot, which was well deep into the crease, came up momentarily, and the question then was her front foot, which was balancing on the line. Was that inside, or was it just on the line? Sophia Dunkley reckons she's out already. She's walking back to the dugout, and I think that was a really neat bit of keeping by Richa Ghosh, and Shikha Pandey might have her second in the over.
Yeah, that's very impressive keeping, just all on timing, and Dunkley, they're checking the edge, but Dunkley's pretty much already off the field. Sophie Eccleston will be the next batter for England. She's there ready. They almost stood face to face.
I've misspoken. I think it's her third wicket of that over. So that was 3 wickets in the over. If this one is called correctly, and this one is indeed out, as Sophia Dunkley just waiting by the boundary edge. Sophie Eccleston will be the new batter in. Just confirmation about to be given that she will be dismissed. And Shikha Pandey, after being hit for 4 from her first ball of the over, is going to end it, having picked up 3 wickets in the following 5 balls, and 3 huge wickets as well when you think about the fact that there was Sciver, who was on a half century, Jones, who was going great guns on 43, and Sophia Dunkley was trying to give it a bit of a back-end blast. That was a big over in so many ways. And England now 166 for 6 with 6 balls remaining. So still, let it be said, in a very good position. But India will take great encouragement from that.
Yeah, they certainly will, and they pulled it up back really, really well. England will fly in there, and you sort of thought, didn't we? We thought 180, but now all of a sudden there's 1 over left, so 6 balls left, and they're still on 166. So Catherine Brunt, though, can strike a ball, but can she do it from ball 1? So important end to this game. Last 6 balls with this Indian batting lineup. England will be wanting that 180 to really put pressure on India.
Brunt on strike. It's a flat delivery, the big hoik across the line there into the onside, out to mid-wicket boundary for a single. Didn't quite get everything onto that. They brought back Deepti Sharma to bowl, their experienced top-ranked bowler for India. Final 6 deliveries resting on her shoulders. She's gone for 1 so far in the 20th over. 167 for 6. Brunt off the mark with a single.
So offside ring field here again. That's her boundary option over the offside. And she's going to hit over the fielder's head, that big boundary to our left.
Deepti, right arm over. Down the track comes Eccleston, hits her on the pads. There's a cry for LBW. She was very far down the track. I think she'll probably be okay. And I wonder, has she been given runs? I think she has. So it wasn't just the pads. 168 for 6. Squirted into the offside. Bit of hesitation. Deepti into Brunt, gives herself room. Smacks it back down the ground. Deepti diving to her left, couldn't get to it. And it runs out to long off, but still just an over of singles so far, 3 of them.
Yeah, India are going to be very happy here if they close this game, this innings.
Eccleston waits, moves her feet, gets to the pitch of the ball. Big swipe across the line, and it's going to run out to mid-wicket. They're going to come back for 2 and they'll make it safely.
Great running from Catherine Brunt. She was running to the danger and turned quickly, made it back to the bowler. Bowler's end comfortably, and India, though, will be happy. They don't want any boundaries here at this point.
171 for 6.
2 balls remain.
Eccleston on strike. She's on 3. She's faced 2 deliveries. Can she get that boundary that England are looking for? It's a short delivery. Oh, she's given herself room, and she has pulled it for all worth over the mid-wicket boundary. Just a little hop there from the fielder balancing on it because she knew that it had towered above her.
That was a serious hit. Longer boundary to our left and Eccleston out the middle of the bat. 6 runs. She knew as soon as she hit that, that was going over the rope. Fantastic striking that from Eccleston. A much needed boundary. 177 for 6 then. 1 ball left. Can they get to that 180?
Yeah, absolutely. And that will then be shift that momentum again when you think that you've got 3 wickets, 3 England wickets in that penultimate over. So much happening, and you felt as though India had really put the brakes on, and could they finish this strongly? The first 3 balls of the last over, no boundary from it, but that's 6 then. Final ball of the 20th. Eccleston, she waits. She moves down the track, and there's a shy of the stumps at the non-striker's end. But they're going to come back for a really scrappy single, I think, as the ball comes back to the keeper, where Catherine Brunt has sprawled into her crease, and the umpire goes up above to check this as the zing bells light up, and it's one of those they had to run the final ball really scrappy. It was plugged back down the ground to the bowler, who then had a shot at the non-striker, then missed it, and the woman backing up, the fielder backing up, then threw it back to the keeper, who took the bails off. And I wonder whether she might just have run out Catherine Brunt. And you know what, Emily, I think she has.
Yeah, she certainly has there, I think. That was, in the end, a good bit of fielding, but sloppy. But I think India will be very, very happy there, actually, with how they closed out that game, that innings. I think they feel like the momentum is behind them, but we saw some sensational things in that innings. Natalie Sciver, 55 off 27 deliveries. Amy Jones, 43 off 26. That partnership had to be broken by something special, and we saw 2 fantastic catches. 1 catch that I reckon's the best I've ever seen. So England finish on 178 for 6, and India require 179 to win.
They do indeed, although are they going to change that back to 177 with that run out? We will await confirmation on that shortly, because I think they're still deciding. But either way, India have quite the chase on their hands, and I feel as though those last few overs kind of are so all over this. We'll have to have a bit of time to collect our thoughts. So yes, confirmation then, it is 177 for 7. So that last run that was for a moment put onto the board has been taken back off, because we have confirmation of that run out of Catherine Brunt at the wicketkeeper's end. She's run out for 2 from 2 balls in the end, so it means that England finish on 177 for 7, and India need 178 to win this T20. There was so much going on, Emily, in those last few overs that you kind of forgot about the state of the game, and the fact that this is a really imposing total, because we just saw wickets going, some incredible India fielding, and you kind of thought that the momentum was all in their favour. But actually, looking at that sort of objectively, taking a step back, and if you'd been at the start of this innings, England would have said 177. Yeah, absolutely, I'll take that.
Yeah, definitely. And that, looking at the Indian batters, that they're certainly going to be wanting to chase that down. And I think this is the beauty of where women's cricket's at now. That was a real spectacle to watch, and the crowd right behind. And I think we saw a mixture. Fantastic batting and bowling. If we run through the England batting card, and Izzy, you can do the Indian bowlers for us.
Yeah.
So Tammy Beaumont was caught by Mandhana, bowled off the bowling of Poonam Yadav for 18. Danny Wyatt bowled off the bowling of Radha Yadav, caught by Ghosh, the keeper, for 31. Natalie Sciver, fantastic catch out on the rope at long on from Harmanpreet, caught for 55 off 27. That was a game-changing knock from her. Heather Knight was run out just for 6. Amy Jones, again, that was the ridiculous catch. 3 attempts out on the boundary rope. I'm sure that will be on social media and one to look out for. 43 off 26. Sophia Dunkley just the 1. Catherine Brunt 2. And Sophie Eccleston not out there at the end. So that was the England scorecard.
And then India's bowlers, so we knew that they were coming in spin heavy. That's where their leading bowlers are. It was opened up though by the 2 seamers, only 2 to make this team. Shikha Pandey, who opened the bowling and after 3 overs was wicketless for 18 from her 3. Well, her final over, which was the 19th over of